What if I told you the greatest battles you face are not with the world, but with your own mind? Life breaks us not with events, but with how we cling to them. A powerful truth says, peace does not come when life is easy. It comes when the mind is trained to be still in the storm. Yet most of us have minds so fragile that a single betrayal, rejection, or failure shatters us. Have you felt this when emotions drag you into chaos and you can't escape? What if you could train your mind so strong, so calm, that no storm could break you again? In this video, I'll share the exact Buddhist wisdom that transforms suffering into strength. And stay until the end, because there is a powerful bonus lesson that reveals the hidden key to an unbreakable mind. Before we begin with number 1, where every video is a doorway to calm, clarity, and timeless Buddhist insight you won't find anywhere else, let us begin. 1. The cracks of expectation. When life does not unfold the way you carefully imagined, the heart trembles, the mind resists, and suffering pierces deeper than the wound itself. Why? Because the story you wrote in your mind collides with the reality before you. The Buddha once said, expectation is the rope that pulls suffering into the heart. And perhaps you feel this truth within you right now, the sting of disappointment, the ache of what could have been. Imagine a clay pot with hairline cracks invisible to the eye. At the slightest fall, it shatters, not because of the fall itself, but because of the weakness already carried within. Our minds, bound tightly by expectations, are just like that fragile pot. A single rejection, a sudden loss, an unfulfilled dream, and the weight of life feels unbearable. But what if strength does not come from holding tighter, but from releasing? Picture your hand clenched into a fist. There is strain, tension, and effort. Now imagine the fist opening slowly into an empty palm. In that moment, there is no battle, no demand, only peace. To release is not to lose, it is to return to freedom. So ask yourself gently, what expectation is quietly breaking me? Perhaps it is the belief that others must always understand you, or that your path must remain free of setbacks. What if tonight, just for a moment, you let it go? Can you see how the chains around your heart loosen, how the air flows more freely? The Buddha's path teaches us that suffering is born not from what happens, but from how tightly we cling to what should happen. To be strong does not mean you will never break. It means you train your mind to remain calm, even when the world does not bend to your plans. This is not weakness, it is the highest strength. Repeat these words softly to yourself. I release what I cannot control. My peace is not tied to outcomes. I choose freedom over expectation. These are not mere affirmations. They are tools, chisels carving away the stone around your heart, so the light of resilience can shine. In your work, in your relationships, in your quiet moments alone, notice how expectation sneaks in, whispering, things must go my way. Each time you notice, return to your breath, return to the open palm. That is where strength is born. Remember, storms do not break the sky, they only pass through it. In the same way, when life breaks hard against you, your calm mind becomes unbreakable steel. And so, I leave you with a question. When tomorrow arrives and life tests you again, will you hold the rope of expectation, or will you open your palm and choose freedom? The answer is yours, and the choice can transform your suffering into strength. 2. Calmness, the armor no blade can pierce. Can silence protect you more than strength? When the world strikes hard, the instinct is to fight back, to resist, to meet chaos with equal force. Yet the Buddha reminded us, still waters swallow the storm without resistance. What if the greatest armor you could ever wear was not made of steel, but of calmness? Think of the ocean. Rivers rush into it with speed and fury, carrying mud, stones, and debris. Yet the ocean remains vast, unmoved, and deep. It does not shrink at the river's rage, nor does it lose its essence. Instead, it swallows everything, and in time, it turns even the mud into silence. Your mind, trained in calmness, can become that ocean. When anger, disappointment, or grief flow toward you, they lose their sharpness in the depth of your stillness. There is a hidden power in calmness that many overlook. Anger might feel strong, but it drains your energy, clouds your judgment, and binds you to suffering. Calmness, on the other hand, clears your vision, protects your heart, and transforms what could break you into what refines you. When life breaks you hard, the calm mind is the unbreakable shield. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe in as though you are inhaling the vast ocean, cool and deep. Exhale as though you are releasing waves that return to stillness. Each breath teaches you. Storms pass, but the ocean remains. This is the strength no blade of chaos can pierce. Whisper these truths to yourself. My calmness is my true strength. In stillness, I cannot be broken. Peace is my shield. These words are not just sounds, they are reminders of the ocean already within you. When you practice them daily, calmness stops being a fragile state and becomes your constant companion. Think back to a moment in your life when calmness saved you more than anger could have. Perhaps in an argument, silence softened what could have escalated. Perhaps in loss, calmness gave you the strength to endure. What if calmness was not something you found occasionally, but the weapon you carried always? The Buddhist path teaches that true strength is not about winning battles in the outer world, but about mastering the storms within. The mind disciplined in stillness cannot be pierced by the shifting blades of circumstance. Every challenge becomes a chance to return to the depth of your inner ocean, and so the question rests with you. The next time life rushes at you with its full force, will you become the storm or the ocean that swallows it whole? For when calmness is your shield, even the hardest blows cannot break you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My silence protects me." 3. Detachment without closing the heart. Is letting go the same as not caring? This is the fear many hold deep in their hearts, that to detach is to abandon, that to release is to lose love. Yet the Buddha's wisdom whispers a softer truth. To hold love without chains is to set both souls free. Detachment is not the absence of care, but the presence of freedom within love. Picture a small bird resting in your open palm. It stays because it feels no threat, no pressure, no prison. But if you clench your fist around it, out of fear of losing, it struggles, suffocates, and slips away. In the same way, when we cling too tightly to people, outcomes, or even dreams, we crush the very life we wish to protect. Detachment is the art of holding with gentleness, of allowing life to breathe, and of understanding that nothing truly belongs to us. When your heart practices this wisdom, love transforms. It is no longer rooted in fear, but in freedom. This is the kind of love that nourishes, that heals, that lasts. Take a moment and imagine holding a handful of sand. If your hand is relaxed, the grains rest there peacefully. But the tighter you grip, the faster they slip through your fingers. Life is the same. The more you try to control, the more restless it becomes. Peace comes not from gripping harder, but from loosening your hold. Repeat softly within, "I let go without bitterness. My love does not depend on control. Detachment makes space for compassion." These affirmations are not to distance your heart, but to widen it, so that love may flow without the walls of fear and expectation. Ask yourself, what have I been gripping too tightly? Perhaps it is the idea that someone must never change, or that your worth depends on their approval. What if loosening that grip tonight gave you peace without taking away your love? In Buddhist practice, detachment does not harden the heart. It purifies it. It removes the poison of control, leaving behind the clear water of compassion. When you let go of chains, you discover that love is not smaller but larger. You no longer say, "You are mine." Instead, you say, "May you be free, may you be happy." And so, when life breaks you hard, remember that clinging will only deepen the cracks. Release with kindness, and your heart will remain whole. The strongest mind is not the one that controls, but the one that trusts. Now reflect. What in your life needs the gentleness of an open palm? For the moment you release the grip, you will see, letting go is not the end of love, but the beginning of peace. Who truly controls your mind, you or your thoughts? In the quiet of night, when your heart feels heavy and your mind refuses to rest, this question becomes unavoidable. The Buddha warned us, the undisciplined mind is a restless horse that throws its rider. If your thoughts run wild, they drag you into fear, anger, and despair. But if you learn the silent discipline of thought, you ride with clarity, calmness, and strength. Picture a candle flame flickering wildly in the wind. Its light is unstable, unsteady, unable to guide. But when the air is still, the flame glows steadily, illuminating the dark. Your mind is this flame. Without discipline, every distraction, every fear, every memory makes it flicker. But when you bring stillness through practice, your mind becomes unshakable, and its light reveals the path ahead. Training your mind is not about silencing all thoughts, but about guiding them. Imagine a wild horse running in chaos across an open field. Left alone, it will exhaust itself and destroy everything in its path. But with gentle reins, it can be guided, calmed, and led with purpose. Your awareness is those reins. Each time you return to your breath, each time you pause before reacting, you are reminding the horse, "You are not the master here, I am." Whisper to yourself, "I master my thoughts, not the other way. Discipline is my path to freedom. My silence is my strength." These words remind you that your inner world does not have to be dictated by chaos. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is the ground where true strength is born. Try this now. Take a breath and visualize reins tightening gently around a restless horse. Feel its struggle, its resistance, then sense it slowly calming, following your lead. This is the discipline of thought. Not force, but guidance. Not suppression, but mastery. Ask yourself, what thought pattern controls me? Is it fear that I may fail? Is it the past I cannot forget? And then imagine what your life would feel like if you were the rider again, holding steady reins, guiding your mind instead of being dragged by it. The difference between suffering and peace is found in this mastery. Buddhism teaches us that a disciplined mind brings happiness just as a tamed horse carries its rider safely to their destination. To train your mind is not punishment, it is liberation. For when the storm comes, the undisciplined mind breaks, but the trained mind stands calm, like a candle whose flame never wavers. So I leave you with this. When life breaks you, will you allow your restless thoughts to throw you into darkness? Or will you take the reins and ride with strength? The answer is the difference between bondage and freedom. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My silence protects me." 5. Turning pain into inner fire. Can suffering be the very thing that strengthens you? When life breaks you, it feels as though pain is only destruction, only loss. Yet in the silence of Buddhist wisdom, we are reminded the wound is where wisdom begins. Pain is not always your enemy. Sometimes it is the fire that forges you into something greater. Think of coal buried deep in the earth. On its own, it seems ordinary, fragile, even worthless. But under immense pressure, it transforms into diamond, unbreakable, radiant, and rare. In the same way, the pain you carry is not just a scar. It is the pressure that can turn your spirit into clarity, compassion, and strength. Suffering cracks open the shell of illusion. It strips away what is false, what is temporary, and forces you to see what truly matters. The brokenness you feel is not a sign of weakness. It is the beginning of transformation. The Buddha never promised a path without suffering. He taught us how to walk through it with wisdom until pain becomes the very ground where strength is born. Close your eyes and bring to mind the wounds you carry. Now, instead of seeing them as dark scars, imagine them glowing as gold, radiating light through your body. This light is strength, born from your suffering, rising from within you. Pain is no longer the weight that drags you down. It is the flame that lifts you up. Repeat these words with quiet conviction. My pain is a teacher. Every scar is strength hidden in plain sight. I rise not despite my pain, but because of it. These are not just affirmations. They are the truth you discover when you stop running from pain and begin listening to it. Reflect now. What wound has shaped my strength? What lesson is my current pain trying to teach me? Every hardship, every heartbreak, every disappointment is carrying a hidden gift, a wisdom that only suffering can reveal. Perhaps patience, perhaps resilience, perhaps compassion for others who suffer too. When you understand this, suffering loses its power to break you. The wound no longer defines you. It refines you. Like fire purifying gold, your pain burns away illusions and leaves only what is essential, only what is true. And so, when life breaks you hard, remember this. Pain is not the end of your journey. It is the forge of your becoming. The coal within you is waiting to become diamond. The wound in your heart is waiting to shine as wisdom. The next time suffering enters your life, ask not, why me? But what is this fire trying to create within me? For the moment you embrace pain as teacher, you discover that nothing can truly destroy you. You only rise stronger. 6. The gentle power of patience. Why do we break when things don't happen on our timeline? The heart grows restless, the mind grows anxious, and we feel as though life has abandoned us. Yet the Buddha's wisdom reminds us, a tree does not force its fruit to ripen. Life has its own rhythm, and when we resist it, we suffer. Think of the river flowing against the mountain. It does not strike with violence, nor does it demand the mountain move at once. Instead, it flows patiently, year after year, until stone itself is carved by its gentle persistence. In the same way, patience carries a quiet power that no force can match. Impatience shatters us because it is born from control. We want things to unfold on our schedule, and when they do not, we feel defeated. But patience teaches us a higher truth, that what is meant will come in its season. The flower does not bloom in winter, and yet it never doubts the arrival of spring. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as a seed resting beneath the soil. Darkness surrounds you and nothing seems to move. Yet deep within, life is stirring. You cannot rush the sun, nor can you demand the rain. But in trust you rest, knowing that one day the soil will break and you will rise into light. This is patience, a strength gentle but unbreakable. Whisper softly within, I trust the timing of life. Patience builds what haste destroys. I am at peace with slow unfolding. These affirmations are not just words, they are reminders that the world moves not by your push, but by a rhythm far greater than you. Ask yourself, what am I forcing that should be allowed to unfold? What weight could be lifted if I chose patience instead of demand? Often, it is our hurry that breaks us, not life itself. The mind says, I must have this now, but wisdom says, it will come when the season is right. Buddhism teaches that waiting is not emptiness, it is preparation. Each delay, each pause, each still moment is shaping you, just as the seed gathers strength unseen before it rises. Impatience burns energy, but patience nourishes it. So when life tests you, when your timeline crumbles, do not despair. Be like the river that carves stone, like the tree that ripens fruit, like the seed that trusts the sun will come. For patience is not weakness, it is quiet power. And I leave you with this reflection. If you stop forcing, stop demanding, and start trusting the unfolding, what burdens would dissolve from your heart? Perhaps then you would see that patience is not waiting for life to begin. It is life itself. 7. Resilience in the space between thoughts. Where does your true strength hide when chaos attacks? When the mind is storming with fear, doubt, and confusion, it feels as if peace is impossible. Yet Buddhist wisdom reveals a hidden truth. Between one thought and the next lies freedom. Your strength does not always live in action. It often waits in the stillness between. Think of music. It is not only the notes that create its beauty, but the spaces in between them. Without pauses, there is no rhythm, only noise. In the same way, your mind is not defined by its endless stream of thoughts, but by the quiet spaces that hold them. When you rest in that silence, you discover resilience beyond measure. Chaos breaks us because we cling to thought after thought, chasing them as if they are real. But when you pause, you see that each thought rises, lingers, and fades like a cloud passing across the sky. You are not the storm of thoughts, you are the space in which they appear. That space is indestructible. Close your eyes for a moment, inhale deeply, then exhale. Now notice the silence that lingers right after your breath leaves you, before the next inhale begins. That stillness is not empty, it is alive. This is the space of awareness, the refuge untouched by chaos. Affirm softly to yourself, I find refuge in the pauses. My mind is not my enemy. I rest in the space of awareness. With each repetition, notice how your breath slows, how your thoughts loosen, how calmness begins to root itself in your being. Ask yourself, what might I discover if I stopped chasing thoughts and rested in the spaces between them? Perhaps clarity would emerge where confusion once ruled. Perhaps calmness would replace fear. The answers you seek often do not live in the noise of thinking, but in the silence beneath it. Buddhism teaches that resilience is not about having no thoughts, but about not being enslaved by them. When you learn to rest in the gaps, you realize you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness holding them. This realization is the unshakable ground, the still center that life cannot break. So when the world crashes against you, do not only fight harder or think faster. Instead, pause, rest in the silence between breaths, between thoughts, between struggles. There you will find a resilience deeper than strength, a calm that cannot be pierced. And so I leave you with this. Will you continue to chase every thought as if it owns you, or will you rest in the timeless silence between them? For in that sacred space, life cannot break you. It can only reveal your true self. 8. Freedom from emotional hooks. Why do others' words or actions control us so deeply? A single insult can ruin an entire day, while a harsh look or careless remark can stir storms within us. The Buddha revealed the truth clearly. The fish is only caught because it bites the hook. In the same way, pain often arises not from the arrow of another, but from our decision to grasp it tightly. Imagine an arrow flying through the air. If it strikes empty space, it harms nothing. But when we identify with the arrow, when we let it lodge into our heart, suffering begins. Most words, most actions are like arrows. They only wound when we give them a place to land. Our emotional hooks are built from pride, fear, and expectation. When someone pulls at these strings, we react automatically, handing them power over our peace. But freedom comes when we refuse the hook, when we see clearly their words belong to them, not to us. We do not need to carry poison that is not ours. Close your eyes and visualize this. Imagine someone's harsh words thrown toward you. Instead of piercing, they transform into soft feathers, dissolving in the wind before they touch you. This is not denial, this is mastery. You choose not to bite, and in choosing you remain free. Whisper gently within, I will not bite the hook of anger. I refuse to carry poison that is not mine. I am free from emotional traps. These affirmations remind you that your calm does not depend on others' behavior, but on your awareness of choice. Ask yourself with honesty, whose words have hooked me lately? Whose actions have I allowed to steal my inner peace? And now, imagine how your life would feel if you did not take the bait. What strength, what lightness would you carry then? In Buddhist practice, freedom is not about avoiding people or situations. It is about learning to meet them without attachment. The arrow that once pierced you passes harmlessly through air. The words that once chained you dissolve into nothingness. You remain rooted, unshaken, calm. So when life breaks you hard through the actions or judgments of others, remember, you are not a fish in the river, helpless against every hook. You are the ocean itself, vast and unmoved, with no need to cling. And I leave you with this reflection. When the next hook is thrown before you, will you bite in reflex, or will you smile gently, letting it drift away on the wind? For in that moment of choice lies the key to your freedom and the strength no one can take from you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My silence protects me." 9. The mind as an unmoving mountain. Can the mind remain unmoved while storms rage around it? When life crashes against you with loss, conflict, or disappointment, it feels almost impossible to stay steady. Yet Buddhist wisdom reminds us, the mountain does not kneel to the wind. The mountain may feel the storm, but it does not surrender its ground. In the same way, your mind can learn to remain calm at its core, no matter what weather life brings. Snow may cover the mountain, rain may soak it, thunder may roar above it, yet beneath the surface it remains unshaken, rooted deep in the earth. This is the metaphor of resilience. Your mind, trained in stillness, does not deny the storm, but allows it to come and go without losing its essence. Most suffering comes when we identify with the storm. We say, I am the chaos, I am the anger, I am the fear. But the truth is different. You are the mountain. Thoughts, emotions, and events are like passing weather. They may change the surface, but they cannot move the ground of your being unless you allow them to. Take a moment now to visualize yourself as a great mountain. See your body rooted firmly into the earth, immovable, vast, and strong. Around you, winds blow, rains fall, voices shout, yet you remain untouchable at your center. With each breath, feel yourself anchored deeper into this strength. Whisper to yourself with calm conviction, I am steady as the mountain. Storms pass. I remain. Nothing outside me can move my center. These affirmations remind you that strength is not about resisting the storm, but about not being shaken by it. Ask yourself gently, what storm am I facing right now? Can I remain the mountain through it? Perhaps it is grief, perhaps it is pressure, perhaps it is fear of the unknown. Whatever it is, see it as weather, passing across the sky of your mind. You do not need to kneel to it. You need only to remain steady. Buddhism teaches that calmness is not the absence of storms, but the presence of an unshakable center. When you remember this, every difficulty becomes an opportunity to root yourself deeper, to remember that nothing outside has the power to destroy your inner mountain. And so, when life breaks you hard, recall this truth. Storms are temporary, but the mountain endures. You too can endure, not by force, but by stillness. I leave you with this reflection. When the winds rise again, will you chase them as if they define you, or will you stand firm as the mountain, letting them pass? For storms may roar, but the mountain remains, and so can you. 10th strength in letting things end. Why do endings shatter us when they are simply part of life? When the mind trains in awareness, storms still arise, but they no longer destroy. Each wave becomes an opportunity to observe, to release, and to cultivate deeper calm. So when life breaks you hard, remember that even in the fiercest storm, the sky within you remains untouched. You are not your emotions. You are not your struggles. You are the vast space that holds them. And so I leave you with this reflection. The next time clouds of anger, fear, or grief gather, will you cling to them and be tossed about? Or will you rest in the sky of your awareness, calm and unbroken, letting the storm pass while your core remains infinite and free? We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My silence protects me." Bonus lesson: the true meaning of the unbreakable mindset. Is being unbreakable about never feeling pain, or is it something deeper? Many believe strength means hardness, resistance, and never yielding. Yet the Buddha offers a profound insight. Unshaken is the mind that does not grasp. True resilience does not come from denying life's trials, but from meeting them without clinging, without letting them define the core of who you are. Consider bamboo in the wind. It bends, sways, and twists, yet it does not break. The secret is not rigidity, but flexibility. By yielding to the force around it, bamboo survives storms that would splinter rigid trees. In the same way, your mind can remain unbreakable, not by resisting life, but by flowing with it, anchored yet flexible, aware yet unattached. Pain touches us all: loss, disappointment, rejection. They strike like strong gusts, testing our inner strength. But unbreakable minds do not let pain dictate their essence. When suffering arrives, it is allowed to exist, observed without grasping, and eventually released. In this way, the mind stays whole, like bamboo rooted deep in the soil, even when the wind bends it. Close your eyes and picture yourself as bamboo. Feel your body moving gently with the invisible wind, bending with grace under pressure, yet held steady by your roots. Every sway is not weakness. It is a decision to survive, a display of inner strength that does not resist what cannot be stopped. This is the mystery of the unshakable mind. It is gentle where others are rigid, yielding where others struggle, yet in the end it cannot be destroyed. Whisper to yourself, "I bend, but I never break. Pain may reach me, but it cannot shape who I am. My mind stays unbreakable through surrender." Each reminder tells me that resilience is not a war to win, but a dance to embrace, a surrender that strangely gives freedom. Ask yourself, what if being unbreakable is not about resisting, but about flowing? What if life's storms were chances to practice bending, watching, and letting go? Reflection reveals the truth. The steady mind is not empty of experience. It is fully aware, fully alive, yet untouched at its center. Buddhism reminds us that the unbreakable mind is not shaped by avoiding pain, but by accepting impermanence and releasing attachment. Like bamboo, we can move with life's currents without breaking, discovering strength in flexibility and freedom in letting go. So when life strikes hard, remember, resisting too tightly may shatter you, but flowing, yielding, and observing keeps your true self safe. You may bend, you may sway, you may feel hurt, but the unshaken mind stays calm, steady, and free. So I leave you with this thought. Are you ready to live like bamboo, graceful in surrender, rooted in awareness, and unbreakable through acceptance? For in gentle yielding lies the deepest and most lasting strength of all. A brief reminder of the principles, the cracks of expectation. Expectations create weakness within, because when reality fails to meet our desires, the mind breaks under disappointment. Letting go of rigid expectations closes those cracks and brings back peace. Calmness, the shield no blade can cut. Real strength is not in resistance, but in staying calm when life turns chaotic. Calmness protects the mind more strongly than anger or fear ever can. Detachment is not indifference, it means caring without holding too tightly. When we release control, we open space for deeper compassion and peace. The quiet discipline of thought. Without discipline, the mind stays restless and unsettled. Guiding thoughts through silence, mindfulness, and awareness brings back mastery and balance, turning pain into inner fire. Pain is not the finish, but a doorway to strength. Each wound carries the chance to be turned into wisdom and resilience, the quiet strength of patience. Impatience destroys peace by pushing life before its time. Patience teaches us to trust the natural rhythm of time and growth. Resilience in the gap between thoughts. Freedom lives in the pause between thoughts. Learning to rest in those gaps gives the mind steady resilience against chaos. Freedom from emotional traps. We suffer most when we get caught in others' negativity. By choosing not to react, we free ourselves from hooks and manipulation. The mind, like an unmoving mountain. Life's storms cannot shake a rooted mind. When awareness grows deep, outside challenges lose their power to disturb. Strength in allowing endings. Endings are not failures, they are natural. Accepting closures with grace opens the way for new beginnings to rise. Awareness, the unshaken core. Emotions come and go, but awareness itself remains untouched. Resting in awareness shows you the part of yourself that never breaks. The real meaning of the unbreakable mind. Being unbreakable is not about fighting against pain, but about moving with life. Flexibility and surrender shape a mind that cannot be destroyed. Life will test you. It will bring loss, betrayal, and storms that come without warning. But what truly decides whether you break or rise is not what happens outside. It is how the mind reacts within. A calm, disciplined, and compassionate mind is stronger than steel because it cannot be shaken by the world's noise. True strength is not in holding on, but in letting go with grace. This is the heart of Buddhist wisdom: to bend without breaking, to flow without fear, to love without clinging, and to live without grasping. When the mind is trained to rest in stillness, even the hardest strikes cannot crush you. Instead, they become the very ground where your true strength is uncovered. So I leave you with this thought. Will you keep allowing life's chaos to control your emotions? Or will you begin today to build an unbreakable mind rooted in calm and clarity? The choice is yours, and your freedom starts the moment you choose to walk this path. Remember to like and share this video. Share your thoughts in the comments for more uplifting Buddhist teachings on living a peaceful life.